Αγαπητοί Dean Karnazes, γεια σας. Σήμερα είμαι πολύ χαρούμενος γιατί έχω ένα ιδιαίτερο καλεσμένο μαζί μας. Γιατί είναι ιδιαίτερος? Γιατί θα ακούσετε σε λίγο τι έχει κάνει στην καριέρα του. Έχει τρέξει σε 50 μαραθωνίους, 50 συνεχόμενες μέρες, σε 50 πολιτείες της Αμερικής. Έχει επίσης τρέξει 563 χιλιόμετρα συνεχόμενα σε 80 ώρες, χωρίς ύπνο. Επίσης έχει τρέξει σε ακραίες συνθήκες όπως πάρα πολύ χαμηλές θερμοκρασίες στο Νότιο Πόλο, αλλά και στην κοιλάδα του θανάτου όπως λέγεται, σε πολύ υψηλή θερμοκρασία που ανθρώπινο σώμα δεν είναι εύκολο να ανταποκριθεί. Έχει βραβευτεί και έχει αναγνωριστεί από το περιοδικό Times σαν ένας από τους πιο επιδραστικούς ανθρώπους στον κόσμο, μέσα μάλιστα στους 100 πρώτους, και έχει γράψει πολλά βιβλία για να εμπνεύσει τους δρομείς όπως αυτά που έχουμε μαζί μας και θα μας τα υπογράψει φυσικά. Δεν είναι άλλος από τον Dean Karnazes. Dean, thank you so much being with us.
My pleasure.
I would like to say first of all a story behind this interview. I was at Athens Half Marathon and I had an exhibition booth there with my insurance agency called Gem Insurance. And Dean passed by the booth and say, "Oh, Dean, wait, I want a photo with you." And after the photo, I said to Dean that I'd love to have an interview with you, but our team called Joke Around, is a team with members, only amateur members. And Dean answered to me, "I'm an amateur too." This was a surprise for me after the thing that you have done. Is it a mindset? Is it a way of thinking about running? What is it to feel amateur?
I want to feel like a child, like a παιδί, always. So always look at the world through the eyes of a child. There's always learning, always changing, always growing, always improving. So I'll never be a professional because a professional is when you achieve something, and I'm on a lifelong journey to become something. So
Yeah, but you achieved so many things.
I think it's because of this mindset that I've done this. I love new challenges. I love exploring the limits of human endurance, of seeing if I can change my training, change my diet to feel better and to perform better. So I'm always trying to learn, and many of my peers, they no longer run. You know, they had burnout or injury, but I'm still, you know, after 3 decades, it's a good Greek blood.
Okay. So I'll start the interview with a very simple question, but very important. Why should someone start running? For you, what is your opinion?
I think because it is good for the body, and for the mind, and for the soul. Running is the best drug on earth because it's free and there's no side effects. You don't have a hangover in the morning. It makes you feel good, and the feel good lifts everything. It makes your problems go away. It makes you a better person, so you're more able to be a good father, a good husband. You know, a good
I have never heard about that.
Nah. Well, you're a good husband.
I can be a better father now, I think.
I think running improves everything. It teaches you about yourself. There's no other sport that puts a mirror in front of you and says, what are you made of? You have a conversation with yourself. Can I go further? Is this my limit? But it forces you to understand who you are, your limitations and your strengths.
It's more psychological, I think, way of thinking.
And I think you should approach running as play, as a form of play, like a child. Don't always run the same track. Don't always watch not every run has to be about your time. It can be just for the joy of running. So if you enjoy running, you want to do it.
Yeah, okay. You have inspired a lot of people start running in your life, but was there someone who inspired you?
I mean, my father inspired me.
Oh.
But Phidippides or Phidippides,
Ooh.
you know, the first man to run what has become the marathon. When I learned of this story, you know, in the run to Sparti from Athena and then back, I couldn't understand how someone could do this in 490 BC. So very inspirational.
Without shoes?
Without shoes,
nothing.
No energy gel, right? No iPhone to navigate. How do you must look at the stars. How do you know which way to go? No headlamp at night. How he did this?
Or maybe dangerous things about, animals or
Snakes,
snakes.
Yeah.
And what about your father?
My father, he ran the Los Angeles Marathon.
Oh.
And I was there as a boy. I was a teenage boy, and I remember at the finish, he was very dehydrated. He was in one of the blankets, you know, the Mylar blankets, and he was in the medical tent, and he had an IV, and he was shivering, and and I remember looking at my dad, and I said, I never want to run a marathon. I'll never do this. And now I've run over 300. So he had an
How did you
he had an influence on me. I didn't realize at the time how strongly he influenced me. I thought it was very heroic what he did. It was very
It's
heroic.
like a hero for you.
He was like a hero.
Did he run again or not?
Nee, he ran the London Marathon again.
London, yeah.
But it's siga, you know.
Oh, I don't,
slowly.
it's not a problem.
Nee,
about that.
nee.
You have already run all around the world. If you had one more race or one more run, which place do you choose and why?
Well, I have one more adventure I'm planning, and it's to run from the lowest point on Earth to the highest point on Earth.
Wow.
So you probably know the highest point on Earth, Mount Everest. Do you know the lowest point on Earth?
No.
It's in the Dead Sea in Jordan.
Oh.
So I want to run from the Dead Sea to the top of Mount Everest.
How is the increase of?
It's crazy. It will take 5 months. 5 months of running.
5 months.
Nee.
Yeah. And how many kilometers is this?
It depends. The most direct route is through Iraq and Iran, and the U.S. Department of State. They said, Costa, you can't go there.
Yeah.
Nah, they said it's too dangerous.
They refused to.
They said, it's too dangerous, Tora. So I'd have to go through they call the stand, so Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan on the Silk Road. I'd have to go that route, and it's about 7,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Nah.
7,000 kilometers. Okay. And you plan to do that?
I planned it.
Are you sure? You have already run in very difficult conditions, very hot or very low temperature. What are the ideal weather conditions for you? I ask you because in Greece we have I think it's a hot place, and I don't know if you think that Greece is a place for running, a perfect place for running.
Greece is
about
the best.
Conditions.
I mean,
about conditions.
It's a history. No, Greece is the best place for running. It is difficult. Greece is very little of Greece is flat, as you know. I mean, maybe along the Athens Riviera, there's little sections that are flat, but not for Ligo. So everywhere you run is difficult, but a difficult run makes a good runner. Like easy, smooth sailing doesn't make a good sailor.
Yeah.
Easy, smooth running doesn't make a good runner. Difficult runs make a strong runner.
And what about the conditions? Do you feel which conditions do you feel that are the best?
The humidity is
for you.
Humidity is very difficult, and Greece in the summer, the humidity is very difficult to run. So for me, low humidity, dry.
Temperature around 20.
No, lower.
Lower,
for ideal 14 to 15.
14, 15.
For fast, if you want to run fast, nah. Even lower, maybe 12 even.
12.
Nah. If you want to run a fast marathon, you go to Berlin which is in September, and it's flat, and the temperatures usually start around 10 or 11 and go up to maybe 14. Yeah.
Is it the best, you think, choice of marathon, Berlin? After Athens, of course. Let's say after Athens, of course.
I mean, I've run 300 marathons, so Berlin is, if you want to set a record for your time, Berlin is good. But, you know, Boston is good. New York City is incredible. There's a place called Big Sur.
Yeah.
It's in California. It's like the Manny coastline. It's all along the coast, so it's a marathon all along the coastal ways. Very nice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you could leave one pair of shoes in a museum of running, okay, what do you like to write down your shoes or in a small sign, you know, about you?
I would like to say these shoes they'd be very worn out, you know, they'd be destroyed at the end of their life, and I would say these shoes have seen a lot of love.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of love.
Love is a main thing
Love
that you
is-
want
yeah,
to...
passion. You know, they've been on the mountains, they've been on the sand, they've been everywhere, and they've been loved very much.
Oh, very nice. You have already said in other interviews that you play with pain. I think it's very important to hear from you how you do the step up after starting the pain, and how you do the step up, how do you play with pain, as you said?
I think that you shift your mind, your paradigm, you shift the way you look at pain, and you don't think of it as an enemy, you think of it as a friend.
Yeah.
And you embrace pain, and when you feel the pain, you say, I love this, it's great.
You prepare that.
Pain makes you feel alive, right? You're never more alive than when you're in a lot of pain, because you're constantly thinking about the pain. So I say to every runner, don't think this is going to be the marathon that you get through with no pain. It won't happen. Look forward to the pain. And when the pain comes, say, here it is. Here's a challenge. Let's go, man. You make love to the pain. Yeah.
If there was no pain, it would be easy for everyone.
Nay.
Huh?
Nay.
Oh, right. So you have a good friendship with pain.
You have to as a runner. Nay.
You have to,
You
yeah.
have to embrace it. Nay.
Yeah.
Nay. I mean, Odysseus, you know, from the Iliad and the Odyssey, the translation, the English translation of Odysseus is man of pain. So I think we're all on earth to suffer. We all suffer. And it's just a matter of how do you deal with the suffering and the pain? Like how do you, does it pull you down or does it lift you up?
Yeah, you have two choices.
You have two choices.
So it's better to lift you up, huh?
Not try to avoid pain. I mean, you know, if you watch television, the commercials are for pain, take this for pain, make your pain go away, do this to make the pain go away. If you just said, okay, pain is part of living, then it's easier.
Yeah. Dean, how can someone take the next step or the next level in his or her career, let's say, in running? For example, I have done already twice the Athens Marathon, and I would like to go to 50 kilometers for the next step, but it's difficult with my mind, first of all. Say, it's difficult for you, George. Try to avoid or stay there because it's too much for you to go more and more. How can somebody do the next step and to go from 10 kilometers to 21 or 21 to marathon? Everybody has his or her own limit.
I think the best approach is to, if you run a 10K, set your goal as a half marathon, but just finishing the half marathon. Don't say I want to finish in sub 2 hours or sub 3 hours. Just say my goal is to finish the half marathon. And then if you enjoy that, you can do more and more and try to improve your time. If you've run a half marathon, you want to do a marathon, do the same thing. Just say, my goal at this marathon is to finish. 4 hours, I don't care. 5 hours, I don't care. I just want to reach the finish line. With an ultra marathon, it's the same thing. If you move up to a 50-kilometer race, don't think about time. Just say, I want to get there before the cutoff, and your race will be much more enjoyable.
Yeah. Maybe it's a solution to run 1 more kilometer every time, or you think about that?
I think a better way is to carve out some time if you have time. You know, you're very busy with your job, your family, young family, but just say, I want to run for 5 hours today. And keep track of how far you go, but don't care. Just say,
Don't care about how long.
No, it's 5 hours. I'm going to be on my feet. Because when you run an ultra marathon, the ones I do, you're on your feet sometimes 25, 26, 30 hours at a time. So, you know, walk if you want to walk. When you do this, have a cappuccino if you want, you know, have some baklava, but just keep going. Yeah.
Not chipuro?
No, maybe a little at the end.
At the end. Okay.